Good evening, Battle Creek, and welcome to another session of Our View with
I'm Valerie Whitney, Program Coordinator for the Women's Co-op.
Teresa Momini Young, Executive Director for the Women's Co-op.
And Kayla Johnson, Work Experience Trainer for the Women's Co-op.
Welcome, everybody. So today we just kind of wanted to catch up. Like, we feel like we had this really full summer of shows, unpacked a lot of stuff. And so tonight we just wanted to catch up on some of that and to let folks know different things that are going on at Co-op right now. So you want to talk a little bit about the training program, Kayla?
Sure. So we have our janitorial and clerical programs that we can put people through. That would go over resume building, learning Microsoft Office, typing skills, those sorts of things. And then we have the Cricut and sewing programs, and those are tuition-based. So our Cricut and sewing programs are 8 weeks long, tuition-based, where you'll learn basic skills for those programs. I need help.
And then the advanced skills.
Thank you.
And then they can participate in the hub where you can create and make and put them in our Butterfly Boutique, which works kind of like a consignment shop. So you make something, you put it in the boutique. When it sells, you get paid. Does that pretty much sum it up? Mm-hmm. Okay. So KCC is offering some IACT programs, which are shorter certificate trainings, and we're helping to recruit for that right now.
Right.
What are those, Val?
So the IAC programs are programs where they are typically 6 to 8 weeks in duration. The one that's coming up most currently is the CENA program, Certified Educated Nurses Assistant. And so what you'll do is you'll learn the trades that you need to become a CENA, but along with that you learn some soft skills too. They teach you some office procedures, a little bit of computer work, time management, those types of things. The other one that they are also recruiting for is phlebotomy. And you will learn the skill set to be a phlebotomist where you can then become employed. Again, you get the soft skills training as well as the training for the particular field that you want to go into.
And those are through Kellogg Community College, but you can access them through the co-op because we can help you get connected to the special populations recruiter.
Right.
Yes.
And then we're really excited that in partnership with Kellogg Community College, we now have on-site administrative program. So it kind of leads from our front desk, frontline service training, but it's a full 9 months?
15 weeks.
15 weeks. And you're certified in Microsoft Office products when you're done, the whole Office suite. So that's been pretty cool having them in the building. Mm-hmm. It's actually been bustling quite a bit around Co-op. You know, we're working on one of our signature fundraising events, the Haunted Scare Affair, which we host at Lila Arboretum. And it is a adult event, so it's not recommended for children under 12. We're not going to stop you if you bring a brave 9-year-old, but the event really is geared towards an older audience because we do make it super duper scary. It's a walk in the woods. See, there's some information on the screen now. You can get tickets in advance online for $9, and there's a link there that if you follow it on Eventbrite, and $10 at the gate. That's we're also looking for actors for that. You don't have to be a professional actor. In fact, maybe you've never acted in your entire life, but you just like to dress up and scare the stink out of people in the woods. Then we're looking for you. We meet at Lila Arboretum in the Kaleidoscope Garden on Mondays at 6 p.m. right up to the event. So if you're interested, you can go to a Facebook post that we have right now. We can pull that up. Where you can, it'll link you to a survey page, and you can give us your information and we'll contact you, or you can just show up at Lila. Yeah, there's our little event thing, calling all actors. So you can either link through that to us and we'll contact you directly, or again, you can just show up at Lila at 6 p.m. in the Kaleidoscope Garden and we'll be there gathering. So there's the little, just ask for a little bit of contact information. Mm-hmm. So that's really exciting. What about our fall lineup? Let's talk about that a little bit because I really feel like the summer of what we unpacked here on Our View and the research to do the show really led us to some different programming over the fall and winter of 2022-2023 program year. So part of that, Val, is we're going to start doing domestic violence classes.
That's correct.
So this is just to give a woman some insight into what domestic violence is.
Right.
And how to get out of it.
Right. And not necessarily just how to get out of it, but once you are out of it, how to survive. There is a lot that you have to unpack as a domestic violence survivor once you've left the situation and how to move forward in your everyday life. We also will be showing you some different ways to safely escape. So it's not just as easy as packing a bag and leaving for a lot of folks. So there'll be some game planning going on as well as that. So.
And then Kayla, you unpacked some stuff with families and membership of co-op that drove you to start an anti-bullying class. Tell us more about that.
Okay, so I would definitely agree. Co-op is bustling right now. I think that with Val and I bringing the next classes this fall, and then including the classes that each of us already have, and then being a part of the boutique and with I think we have 12 training candidates now, it is just this amazing place of busyness and relationship going on. So being able to also make time to put together an anti-bullying class. We are going to be having these classes for kindergarten through 12th grade, and it'll be split up into like 3 grade sections. So the younger, intermediate, and the older kids. And it'll be where educators and family can also tag along to be able to like fully engage with the students, with us, and it just become like this whole family wellness idea. And it's kind of like a prevention and intervention program, and it's fun, it's interactive, it fits attention spans, and we have a puppet show for the youngest, and I think that will be really cool. So I'm just really excited to get the information out there and just see like how it can change and help children and families in our community.
Because the one thing that we all found out through this process is that it really does take a community, right? Like this isn't just about getting the kids to not bully each other, but it's about the parents and how they respond to it and what they're doing with their children, and then also how educators are handling it, and finding out the promptness for the additional classes is that most of our stuff was geared towards women, which, again, I mean, we're the women's co-op, so that just makes sense. But we also understand that they are attached to a family, whether that family's together or they're not together and they're just co-parenting. There are a lot of dynamics around that, and if we really want to say we serve in a holistic way, then that means serving the entire family in these ways too.
Yes.
So I'm pretty proud of us and the things that have developed. We also plan this winter in January to start a family wellness class where we can talk about what it means, whether together or not together, to co-parent or to, and we're not therapists, right?
No.
So we're not going to be able to fix everything. We can introduce some ideas and some concepts, but we can also identify when those services might be needed.
Right.
And we have a great referral system to be able to do that. We have life coach psychology and comforts of home counseling services that offer a gamut of different types of counseling service, so that when we can identify those families that really need it, we have a place to send them to too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about some of those things that we did unpack this summer with membership. So there's this idea behind barrier removal, and we've talked about it exhaustively. The thing of it is that everybody knows that transportation and daycare is an issue. Lots of folks are working on it in the community, and we know that from where we sit at the table. But our families are still feeling exhausted by those barriers, and they're not feeling like there's any legitimate answers to it.
Right.
What are you guys getting for feedback from families?
Well, most of my days are our families need something close to home, because it's not that they don't want to work or it doesn't fit their schedule, because it could, but it just needs to be closer or more like first shift jobs available because of the child care, those things. And that people really want to do what they want to do, what they feel like their purpose is, and like fulfillment in those areas, I think is like is the feedback that I'm getting, is like our families want to fulfill their purpose and feel like they're a part of our community and like they're real people and they're not just numbers here
Right,
or anything
statistics.
like that. So
Right.
it's so like trying to narrow down, like, okay, so like with the situations we have here, how do we get here? And it's fun, but it's also a lot of work, and we don't always have the time, resources, ability, knowledge, those things to always help get there.
Do you guys think it's a shift, like a post-pandemic shift? Like, I know everybody in the world, so forgive us, Battle Creek, is tired of talking about pre-pandemic, pandemic, post-pandemic. But I really feel like there's been a shift in our population, and it's exactly what you're talking about. They don't just want a job anymore. They want something that feels fulfilling to them.
Something that's meaningful.
Something that they can be a part of. And that can happen anywhere, right? That's time and space. It can happen anywhere. But I think that it's interesting that our families are asking for that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that because that's not fulfilling for me.
Right.
Do you feel
That's
like
really
that's a
cool.
shift for you? You've been at Co-op for 20 years.
Yeah, it's a
like-
big shift. I've noticed a lot of difference between pre-pandemic and now. It just seems that the families are more interested in, okay, yes, I could go to work and collect a paycheck. That's true, but I think a lot of them had time to sit and really think about what their purpose was while they were home with their children and you know, sheltering in place, whatnot. I think they really had time to think about it's more than just collecting a paycheck, more than just going to work every day. I need to be able to do something that excites me or that ignites a passion in me for some reason, or however that might be. And for some folks, that might be as simple as taking that first step to get their first job. You know, they might not have worked prior to COVID, and now they are. So.
Or that, you know, we're not talking about being the president. Kaylana, one of our members during the pandemic, started cleaning houses because she couldn't work in a regular job and she needed to make money for her family. So she started cleaning houses and realized that that's her jam. That's what she really loves. And so she's still doing it, even though she probably could be taking advantage of other opportunities. She's happy to be doing this because that's what fulfills her.
Yeah, it does. It
So-
feels more like a quality lifestyle is more important and more worth it than like the quantity of how much.
Right.
Yeah, it's not really about the money anymore. Like, I remember you would always look for the factories in the fort that paid the most because that's where everybody wanted to go. Like, oh no, I'm going over there because they pay $16 an hour. I think it's interesting that we've seen some wages raise across our community, which is great. But it's not so much about that. Like, they're not really trying to hook the jobs that pay the most. It's really more about personal fulfillment.
Right.
I think there's some interesting things about how we gather too, right? So for those of you that don't know, Women's Co-op has always held a monthly meeting because the heart of what we do is networking our families, putting them together so that they can help each other, because that's the idea behind Co-op. And post-pandemic, of course, during the pandemic, we didn't meet at all because it wasn't safe to. And then when it started to become safe to meet and we started trying to come back to these monthly meetings, we just couldn't make it happen. And it seemed ridiculous to me that if we could make it happen before, why can't we make it happen now? Like, schedules haven't changed that greatly. Things haven't changed that much in the world, but apparently they have. So now we've started doing what, ladies?
Monday mixer.
Monday mixers, which are really cool. So you just stop by the co-op offices on Mondays between 8:30 and 4. Once a month, the last Monday of the month, we're open till 7. You can stop by till 6:30. And people just mix and mingle, share ideas and concepts, help each other out, the same as we used to do at the monthly meetings. I mean, it pretty much happens the same way. Only there's a lot of organic things that happens that are fun. Like, somebody has too much fish in their freezer, and suddenly on Thursday we're having a fish fry and everybody's bringing a dish to pass. So there's a lot of organic things that happen like that. I think that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that I love that co-op has always listened and listened often to what the
Yeah.
families want. And that makes it easy for us to shift and flow into meeting their needs. Just like some of the things that we're planning for the fall and winter lineup is happening that same way.
Right.
What have you guys noted? What's noteworthy?
I like the Monday mixer because it's not closed to our membership. So I like that it's open to the community. So when Butterfly Boutique goes to craft shows here in town, we're able to get out that way for co-op too, and be able to invite just other members from the community, other women who are also like entrepreneurs creating their own business, or whether it be baking or earrings, whatever it is. Like, it's cool to be able to invite those folks too who aren't necessarily in our network, but like people we could potentially bring in and network with, and have those people and women come to co-op and then like mingle with our members, and it just be like more inspiration and more new relationship and connectedness going on that way too. And it's really cool to just see how our families are just so down with co-op, like the way they just come in, and if there's not necessarily like a job to do or something, we can get anybody to just jump in with us and jump on any event we got going on, any programming, somebody needs a ride and that person's got them. So I think Monday mixers are really, really cool for that reason. And you just never know who's going to walk in the door and say just the right thing, or be able to do something that maybe this person's needed for months or something like that.
Yeah,
I
and
think
they
that's
had the
really
answer all along, but co-op is the place where they met up and solved it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool too. I think I like the organic things, like I said too, that it's not anything that we planned, it just
Yeah.
happens on a Monday because somebody runs home to get fish. What have you noted, Val?
So a lot of it is just, again, like it feels like sometimes it's back to the networking of the folks in the building, and to me it's kind of organic in a way that now that it's the families that are networking, because we have more than just the women there. Like, we have the women and their kids, and that's always been a positive thing. But because we have these other trainees in the building now, the whole families are becoming engaged. So, it's like, oh yeah, I know that. No, maybe I should tell my wife about that, or my wife would really be able to benefit from that. So it's kind of spreading out a little more.
Yeah.
I
and
agree.
it's-
We're getting more
yeah,
families versus
right.
when we used to have the meetings, it was just the women
Just
who
the
came.
women
And
and the
some
kids.
brought their kids, but
Right.
now many more do.
And I
Yeah.
think more of our families are getting more services because there's so many relationships and so much family involvement, that just being able to talk to each other about each other's problems or victories, that co-op and other agencies in town, like, we're starting to understand like who does what, and where people can get like help they need for this or for that. Like, there's just it's co-op, but it's like giving birth to, like, giving back to Battle Creek and being able to spread like what's going on in our community and becoming like our community
Right.
together.
And I think it's kind of neat how, even as case managers, we know where the resources are, but to hear them talk in the hallway amongst themselves and say, no, don't go there, they're out of funding. But if you go here and ask for this program, if you qualify, you can get the help you need through them.
Or telling people how to do it.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's interesting too, because I think that you're right, that even though we're pretty well connected in the community, I'd like to believe, we find out from the members earlier, or things that we don't find out necessarily from the agencies or places.
Right.
Yeah. Like when funds have ran out, like members seem to know that before we do.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting how resourceful they are, though. Like, I'm thinking about the conversation we had in the lounge the other day, and how one of the members shared dumpster diving, and we were all like, no, like, don't do that, you'll be arrested. And she's like, no, if it's not posted for no trespassing, like, this is perfectly legal for you to do so. And like, we're thinking, no, we have to shut this down. And yet you've got members in the room who are like, what, girl, tell me more. Like, which one? Bed Bath & Beyond? That's where you said? Like, we weren't in the room saying no. They were just like in their own world. And, you know, I'm not saying that we should encourage everything that they talk about on Mondays, because we all three know that's not cool.
No.
But it's just the things that they share that really help each other. You know, the knowledge that gets passed there. I think that that's really cool too.
And the respect they have for some of the folks they don't even know in our community. You know, recent things that are going on in our community, and you know, you'll hear them say, "This, our town is just this," or "Our town is just that," or "Things are getting off this," or whatever. And you'll hear another one say, "Yeah, but you realize the only way to bring our community back to where we want it is to be engaged and have our voice heard and have our voice be out there." So when we have vigils or walks or whatever the case may be, you know, maybe we need to show up, and we need to be there so our voice is heard. It's not someone speaking for us, we're actually speaking for ourselves. And you hear that a lot.
I think that's a loud and clear message that Co-op sends, though, to its families, is like, you have to show up.
Right.
You have to speak up.
Right.
And you have to engage, because if you don't, then you're really just part of the problem.
Because we've always had the mentality, we do with, not to or for. So I think that's huge. I think that's really a large percentage of our families. Longtime members know that, but to hear the ones who've been there longer, like the Jamies and the Michelles that have been there for years, to tell the new folks, no, this is how we need to approach it. You know, there's a way and a time.
Yeah, I like the each one teach one mentality that we have at Co-op. Like, well, you know, so now you teach her, because
Right.
I already taught you. I don't need to teach somebody else.
Right.
Like,
That,
Yeah.
and I think it's really, really cool for people like myself or new women coming in through the membership or the program, that we do still have the founders of Co-op in the building with us. So like, that's really cool too, because then we can like literally be able to look to you guys for anything and know that like we're going to get the right answer. We're going to be able to be helped in those moments too. So like, each one teach one, but like we know that like us newer kids have like the backbone like behind us too.
Aw, thank you, Kayla. I'm going to be sure to thank Jamie Bain.
Yeah, she's in there all the
I
time.
thanked her the other day.
Yeah.
Jamie Bain, the keeper of all the secrets.
Yes.
So we got just a few minutes left. I think I'd like to share with the community what some of our needs are. So we have a real need for furniture right now. Is that correct? We have
Yes.
about 4 families who have just moved into housing and have nothing.
Yep.
So if you have something that you can share, we would be grateful to receive it. Sometimes we can help get donations picked up, but we don't really have, outside of our families and a couple volunteers, we don't really have trucks to do that. So it's
Right.
challenging, so sometimes you have to be patient with us. But we do try to get everything in a timely manner. We need Christmas lights. So if you're not ready to use your Christmas lights yet and you wouldn't mind loaning them to us, or if you just have an extra strand, we need them to light up our trail. So if you have Christmas lights, please get a hold of us. You can contact us at the office, or you can email us. You can go to our website and get all of our contact information. That would be really helpful. We always collect items for our Co-op store, for those of you who don't know what that is. We have a store on site that stocks personal and household items. And so the things that our families do with us and for us, create points for them, and then these points are used for them to shop in that store to purchase household and personal items. And so we're always on the lookout for collecting those. So if you have something that you can share, please share it with the co-op.
Yeah, and also if I just from working with the trainees directly, I think that bus passes, gas cards, just like granola bars, snack things like that, or just like easy microwavable lunches. Those things are always really awesome too, so that our folks can make it to and from, and that when they get to work, they are able to get a full belly
Not be
and have the
stressed.
energy.
Yeah, we do keep a cupboard with food stacked in it because who can work or concentrate on getting their high school diploma if they're hungry?
Right.
So we do keep that. What else, Val? Anything?
I think that pretty much covers all of it.
And, of course, show up for Monday Mixers.
Right.
We're located in the Trinity Lutheran Church building at 2055 East Columbia Avenue. And you can show up any Monday between 8:30 and 4. And we'll welcome you. We'll be there. Right, Kayla?
Yes.
Right, Val?
Absolutely.
All right. So join us next time when we'll be talking about, I don't know, but something interesting. Thanks so much, Battle Creek. Have a good night.